I've been over here watching the news, and I just wanted to say this is the beginning of World War III. Mark my words. The shit that's going on between Israel and Palestine, the shit that's going on between Russia and Ukraine, America just sent troops to Israel. Just mark my words. This is the beginning of World War III.
The Pentagon is boosting the U.S. presence, and it's doing so quickly. You've got aircraft carriers, warplanes, munitions, and now you've got a couple of thousand troops who are on standby to potentially be ready to leave in 24 hours' notice.
In support of European allies, NATO released this footage of American F-22 fighter jets in formation with Italian Eurofighters and Polish F-16s, even MiG-29s over the skies of Poland. We joined America's most forward troops near the Ukrainian border. The 101st Airborne Division from Fort Campbell, Kentucky, now headquartered in Europe for the first time since World War II.
The Israeli army releasing footage on Saturday it says shows IDF troop operations around southern Gaza City's Issa district, the Gaza Strip, as well as airstrikes on some Hamas targets. Hamas rescue officials in Gaza claim an Israeli airstrike killed 76 members of an extended family, one day after the United Nations chief warned that nowhere in Gaza is safe. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu continuing to emphasize Israel will not stop until it destroys Hamas and all remaining hostages taken on October 7th are released. On Saturday, President Biden spoke with the Prime Minister.
As efforts to free more than 100 remaining hostages appear stalled, Israel is reeling from one of its deadliest stretches of the war. 15 Israeli troops killed since Friday, according to the IDF. Prime Minister Netanyahu saying today that Israel is deepening the fighting in the Gaza Strip, where tonight, one of the deadliest strikes of the war killed at least 70 at central Gaza's Maghazi refugee camps, leaving a sea of body bags outside a nearby hospital. In a phone call this weekend, President Biden urged Netanyahu to protect Gaza's civilians, but stopped short of demanding he call off the war. And the conflict is increasingly spilling out of Gaza and across the region. New clashes between Israel and Lebanon's Hezbollah. Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen launching drones toward a U.S. Navy ship in the Red Sea. And the U.S. saying a drone fired from Iran struck a chemical tanker in the Indian Ocean. It's the first time the U.S. has accused Iran itself of attacking a ship since the Gaza war began.
And Garrett, one of the reasons that these Iran-linked attacks are so alarming is that Iran has been threatening to close international waterways, including the Mediterranean, unless the U.S. stops Israel's war in Gaza.
They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We've seen war. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.